G'day there, James here, and I am really excited to be here on the podcast with you today in your earbuds or on your computer. However it is that we're connecting, it's absolutely fantastic to be able to bring you this interview with Jenny Sheridan. Now, Jenny Sheridan is a holistic therapist and an aromatherapist, and she's also done a whole lot of teaching and training in that area as well. She's worked for colleges and bodies in Ireland, where she's from, as well as running her own training centre for over a decade. She now teaches purely online and runs an amazing network of aromatherapists and aromatherapy students. And the amazing thing that Jenny is bringing to us today, as well as a whole lot of her story, the challenges, the wins that she's had over her career, is also that she's got some really great aromatherapy tips for massage therapists and how we can actually use aromatherapy safely and easily. A very simple way to be able to add into massage treatments to get even better results and add something really special for massage clients. So listen in. Jenny is an amazing woman. It's really a privilege to have her be able to speak with us today. So dive in, listen to this, and get what you can out of it for exactly where you are right now. I'm really excited to speak with you today, Jenny. Absolutely amazing to have you here. I know that you do mentoring and training with a lot of holistic therapists, especially in that aromatherapy space. And I thought it would be really great to dive into some of what you know, some of what you teach with your tribe, your people, and how that might cross over into therapists that do more than or are not actually aromatherapists themselves, but some of those things that you might be able to teach us that we can use. So welcome. Really excited to have you here today.
Thanks a million, James. I'm really excited to be here. I've been following you for quite a while.
Yeah, it's great. And I can I want to ask you a little bit about your story and about your business. But first off, I want to just get you to share what you do right now, and especially picking up on your accent. People will be able to tell you're not from Australia. You're not from the same place that I am. So start there. Where are you based? What is it that you're doing?
I'm from Ireland. I presume a lot of people might gather that. And at the moment, I'm focusing on online training. So I teach holistic therapists online. I teach them aromatherapy. I have an aromatherapy diploma, a reflexology diploma. I also have shorter courses. And since the time I trained, I think it's so important that holistic therapists not just know how to actually do the therapies, but know how to build a business, because I've known loads of people who started and gave up because they didn't get the right training. So that's a big part of what I do as well.
I absolutely love that. And it's a mission that's close to my heart too, Jenny. So I'm really excited to be able to connect. Maybe share a little bit about your own story, because I know you've done a bunch of training for therapists. You've worked as a trainer for a while and also as a therapist yourself. Let's go back to the start. What was it like for you when you were first getting into this as a career?
Well, when I started off, I was all excited to learn about the therapies. I started off with healing. I learned massage. I learned aromatherapy, and it was so exciting, and I was getting great results. And the business part just never occurred to me that I wouldn't just put a few business cards in shops and I get like loads of clients. I was making plans to myself. So I work 3 mornings a week while my little girl's in school. I work X number of hours, and they all come between 9 and 12:30. And then, of course, there was absolute crickets. So I tried a few things and nothing happened. I thought if I told my friends, they'd tell their friends, and then I'd have the queues lining up in an orderly fashion outside the front door. That didn't happen either. So I actually gave up before I even tried.
Oh, okay.
See, I can't do this. Like, no one actually wants this. People just aren't interested in it. And I went back to a job that I didn't like, one of those kind of cubicle type jobs.
Oh, yes.
And about 2 years later, I'm sitting there one day and saying, I can't do this. I can't keep doing this job for however long, for the next couple of years or for the rest of my life. So I decided, right, that's it. I'm going to find out how it works, because I know other people have made it work. So I started talking to other therapists, and they were telling me, oh, there's Google My Business and there's directories, etc., etc., etc. So after a good while, I found out some ways that worked, and I started getting regular clients.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think that's not an uncommon experience. I'm guessing like you do training now because it's not uncommon, right? Same as we
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
It's that excitement of the actual therapy, whether it's hands-on or aromatherapy, whatever it is. That's often why
yeah,
people get into this industry, because they love that part. They love helping people.
totally.
They love the modality. And then it's
Yeah,
almost sometimes a bit of a rude shock if the people don't just line up outside the door automatically.
yeah. I was very surprised.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, hang on, it's a bit of an afterthought sometimes. And yet, so many people in this industry do work for themselves.
Yeah,
It's such a huge part of the experience for so many people. So yeah,
yes,
I love and admire that you've been able to work through that yourself, and
yeah.
then be able to teach other people. You mentioned Google My Business. I might ask like a very specific question. When
Hmm.
you were starting to get those clients in, when you were having that success, was there something in particular that helped you get the most clients? Like what was the most effective campaign or marketing channel that you can remember?
Well, this was, of course, back in the day before there was Facebook. But Google My Business was one of the main ways, if not the main way. I also found, because it was like people weren't on the internet an awful lot as well, that business cards in shops did work if you put them around enough places and kept kind of going round and round. But I don't know if business cards will be that effective now. But yeah,
Yeah, of
those two
course.
ways really got me going.
Yeah, that's great. And Google is still a major
Oh, yeah.
source of new clients and of traffic.
Yeah.
Google My Business has still got two huge thumbs up as far as
Huge.
getting found
Yeah.
online. And yeah,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the in-person kind of business cards and flyers and those kind of
Yeah.
connections as well. But yeah, I agree. The online stuff is getting more and more powerful in that kind of balance of how we do marketing.
Yeah,
That's
well,
really
what I
great.
like about my business is that you set it up, you put up your pictures, and you don't need to keep going back and back and back. Like, you'll keep getting clients from it. I would recommend that you might pop in maybe once a fortnight and put up a post. That'll help as well. But whereas you put out your business cards, and of course most of them are going to end out in the bin, and then once they're gone, when they're gone, they're gone. They don't just keep going. Like, and even Facebook, with Facebook posts, you have to kind of keep working at it. But Google My
Mm.
Business is so like automated.
Yeah, what a great point. And I'm also just thinking about it now. It's like as you go on, if people are reviewing your business, which you should be
Mm,
encouraging them to do, then it's almost like
absolutely.
automatically getting better and better as time goes on,
Yes.
right? It's like that business listing is getting more and more powerful.
Yeah. 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 And it's free.
Yeah, how good is that? Straight in with the goods from Jenny. This is fantastic. I want to maybe return a little bit more to your story. Because yeah, you've done a lot of training. You're heavily involved in running your own like Facebook group supporting aromatherapists, and I know
Yeah.
you've worked for a couple of the big training bodies as well as doing your own private courses.
Yeah.
How did that start? Tell me a bit about the training side of things for you.
It started when I was working in a holistic centre, and I loved the therapies. I hadn't actually taught them yet. And the girl who owned the centre was stressed out one day. She said, "This girl said she's going to come and teach Indian head massage, and now she's not. And it's kind of meant to be on in 2 days. I don't know what I'm going to do." And then she turns around and says, "Jenny, you can teach it, can't you?" And I said, "Yes." And then, oh my God, what did I say? But I said, "Yeah, look, I haven't taught before, but I'll give it a go." Because I knew it like the back of my hand. So I did a weekend with 4 people, and it went great. Thank God it was a small number. But that was my very first step. So I was so nervous, so excited, but it worked.
That's great. And it's basically just saying yes to an opportunity that presented itself, right? What a
Yeah, yeah,
fantastic first step.
yeah, yeah. Well, one half of me was saying, "What are you saying yes for?" And the other half was going, "Yeah, we're going to do it."
Yeah, that's great. And it's ended up being a fantastic move. So
Absolutely.
being open to that as an opportunity
Mm.
and having that courage to step in has gone really well
Yeah,
for you. That's amazing.
yeah, yeah. And it was good that I was kind of just thrown into it, because if I had time to think about it, I might have thought of 25 reasons why I shouldn't do it. You know that way?
Yep. So that's another tip. Don't overthink things. Just do them. I love that. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
great. So,
Yeah.
and the training then led into opening your own center. Is that how the timeline went?
Yeah, I worked in various different places, and I trained to be an iTech tutor, so I could teach what our diploma courses over here, so they'd be recognised. And
Oh,
then I
got it.
decided I wanted to run the diploma courses on my own as a not run as an employee. So I rented some rooms in a different centre, and that went grand. And then a friend of mine approached me one day and said, Jenny, I'm after seeing these rooms, and they're in Malahide, little village in Dublin. And I went up, I had a look, I hummed and hawed and had so many sleepless nights, and then decided to go for it because it was 2012. So it was in the middle of the recession.
Ah,
And I was thinking, am I crazy doing this during the recession? But then the plus side was because it was a recession, the rent was nice and low. So that was the next step. So absolutely loved that. And that went on for about 7 years.
oh, fabulous. And was that you, like a solo business? You were running it, or did you have a team, or how was that looking?
I started off with just myself, and then it developed into a team. So I had different people teaching different things. But I have to say, I found that part very challenging because I would have ideas for how things should be taught. So, making the classes nice and clear, making the people kind of relaxed. I didn't want any kind of rigidity. I also didn't want somebody sitting in a chair reading out of a book. I walked in one day and found a tutor sitting there with the anatomy and physiology book and just reading it word for word, and this is what happened. And I was thinking, I can't do that. So I had to kind of pull people up, go easy on the students, meant to enjoy it as well. Stop reading out the book. But yeah, I didn't enjoy, that was a bit like herding cats.
Yeah, I hear you. It can be tricky no matter what kind of business it is.
Yeah,
Team and staff, everyone you employ is a person, and people come with,
yes, with
their
your own
own
ideas.
foibles, their own stories, their own ideas.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
can be huge
yeah,
strength and excitement in that, as well as sometimes challenges if we don't have a structure in place to be able to make it work. And sometimes
yeah.
the wrong person just isn't the right fit too. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them or with you. It's just that's not fitting in particularly
Just
well.
a different way of looking at it, but if I was starting that again, I would be a lot more business-like because I was a bit kind of airy-fairy thinking, oh, well, we all love holistic stuff and, we all like each other, so this is going to be fine. But I didn't like the idea of being a boss and having to tell people what to do. But I learned at the end of the day, I did have to do that. Give them
That is,
structure. This is what I
yeah,
want done. Yeah. And a
that's a
certain
really
kind of
interesting insight.
non-negotiables. Yeah,
That's
sorry,
an
James.
interesting insight because again, I think a lot of people will relate to that. What what specifically comes to mind when you're thinking about like that? What would you have had in place? I think that's an interesting thing to explore.
Well, there was one girl who was lovely, but she was airy fairy as well, and she wasn't getting through the syllabus. She was kind of flaking along, and then it was coming up to assessment time, and I walked in halfway through a class, and she hadn't actually started because she was too busy chatting. So I said, "Look, you need to come back, and you need to shadow me again, and you need to watch what I'm doing." And then when you're doing it, you need to follow these notes, and this is how you're going to teach. Week one, teach this, week two, teach this, with a little bit of leeway. But I don't want you on week five not having started the introduction. So that's what I would do. I would actually I created a kind of a little manual for teachers after that, but I would do that at the very beginning if I was back there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And maybe a good question that follows that up is for yourself. How do you feel you might have had to grow or change to step into that role as a boss, as someone who has a bit more of an authority space around your team?
Yeah, I suppose I just kind of grow up and just kind of realise that this is my business and the book is going to stop with me. And if anything goes pear shaped, they'll all be kind of, bye, because they're not as committed as I would be. But yeah, just kind of take responsibility and plan ahead and just have more of a business head.
Yeah, I love that. And I guess that's what you're teaching the people now that you mentor and that you train, right? That business side of
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. From that whole sort of journey, because it sounds like it's had some back and forth and some up and down. What would you say is the biggest learning for you?
The biggest learning for me, really, and I'm still learning it now, is to always kind of have the business head as well as the therapy head. Because even now, when I'm teaching online, I'll be thinking about what I'd love to teach and enjoying the teaching, and then actually realizing, no, I haven't actually been watching the revenue coming in. I need to do more promotion, etc. So to have both sides going at the same time.
Yeah, it's again a really not uncommon thing for people to have as a challenge and to have to solve.
Yeah.
And I 100% believe deeply that when you have value to offer to people and you're doing great
Mm.
work for it, the financial rewards can come from that quite naturally. There's nothing that
Yes.
has to be forced there, but just keeping an
No.
eye on it so you know,
Yeah. Just watching. Yeah. Yeah.
it's very important from a practical point of view. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. And it's something I'm sure lots of people will be able to relate to and can take on board.
Yeah.
What about,
Yeah.
so if someone is right at the start of the journey, whether that's aromatherapy or massage or some other kind of holistic or wellness therapy, whatever, what
Yeah.
advice would you give to people who are just stepping into running their own business or just stepping into this as a career?
The first thing I advise them to do is to get set up on Google My Business. And I've known, like, I think a lot of holistic therapists don't really like the business side. They find the business side very overwhelming. So they're not doing a lot of the simple things. So I'd say, look, just put aside, at the very most, I'm saying 2 days, but it wouldn't take 2 days, to set up your Google My Business account properly and get some reviews up there. And that'll be your first step to getting clients.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that's a really hot tip, very practical tip to be able to
Yeah,
start with.
and not too hard to do either.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Look, I want to talk a little bit more about what you actually do right now as well, Jenny. I know you run an amazing Facebook group of your own for aromatherapists, and you've got a podcast going, again, in that
Yeah,
aromatherapy space. Tell us a little bit
yeah.
more about that. If someone's listening to this and they do aromatherapy or they're interested in that side of things, what is it that you're doing that can help them?
The main thing I'm doing now is online training, and that is mainly in the aromatherapy, reflexology, and business fields. Quite often, the business field is part of a therapy course I'm teaching, but I teach an aromatherapy diploma course, which sets therapists up to be a qualified aromatherapist. And I do a reflexology diploma course. I also do short courses. Like one of the ones I do is lotions and potions. That's an aromatherapy lotion and potions course where you learn how to make really simple but really effective and absolutely gorgeous aromatherapy products that they can use to sell to clients to increase their income, to upgrade their treatments, to use as part of a reward or referral scheme and just boost their business. And the beauty of this course is that you don't need to be a qualified aromatherapist to do it and to use the oils in a treatment because you'll have a cert for lotions and potions, which will get you insurance on its own.
Fantastic, because I was going to
Yeah,
ask that if someone is a massage therapist or some other kind of therapist and they don't have that actual aromatherapy qualification, is there
yeah,
a line there? Like, how do people know if they're, first of all, how can they know to be safe and to keep their clients safe? But also,
yeah.
like, from a legal compliance and government regulation point of view, how does that all work?
Well, I know in Ireland and in the UK it works that I will obviously teach on the course the basics of aromatherapy. Don't use rosemary for somebody who has high blood pressure, kind of stuff like that. But once they have completed the assignments on the course, they can get insurance to practice lotions and potions. They can only use the oils that I cover on the course. So if I haven't covered rosemary, they can't use it. But they'll be able to they have to cert to say, yes, I have learned how to use lavender and I've learned how to use it safely. And that's how it works. And sometimes people will start off with a shorter course like lotion and potions, try out the products and the therapies on their clients, and then go on then to say, oh, I actually want to know a lot more. I want to be an aromatherapist now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I guess for someone who is already seeing people in another modality like massage, doing
Yeah,
something like lotions and potions is a great way to be able to add into what they're doing, even if they don't
yeah,
take that next step, though. Is that what I'm hearing?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, some people never go on to be an aromatherapist. They're happy with what they have, and that's fine. I mean, there's so many choices out there, isn't there?
Yeah,
You can't
exactly
do
right.
everything.
And I guess my experience of aromatherapy is a little bit limited. I don't know the actual, well, I don't know, legal compliance side of it here in Australia or the
Yeah,
US or other places around the world. But I do know we have a bunch of companies that supply essential oils and do some basic training. What are your thoughts? They probably are focused more on the product than on training, or that's my understanding of them anyway. They do a very simple training course. What's your thoughts around people who are doing those kind of things or experimenting with essential oils in that way?
well, I do have a bit of a bargy with a couple of things that they do, and it's a lot of pyramid. I've nothing against pyramid schemes. The concept is fine, but they tell people to do things that are not safe. They tell them it's okay to take essential oils internally, and
Ah, yeah,
sometimes it is okay, and sometimes you can take essential oils internally and you don't get sick, etc. But there is a chance that you will, and people have been known to die from taking essential oils internally.
yeah,
Like
right,
somebody taking a
okay,
teaspoon of eucalyptus has died.
sure,
And then they also say to use essential oils directly on the skin without diluting them in something, which is also a big no-no because essential oils are highly, highly concentrated. They're up to 3 times more potent than the herb that they come from. So using them on the skin, undiluted, it can cause irritation. It can even cause sensitivity. It can cause severe burns. So I would just say I really would love to see anyone talking about oils to explain to people how to use them safely. Don't take them by mouth. Don't use them undiluted on the skin. Don't let them get close to the eyes. And there's certain oils you don't use for certain conditions. So I just find it quite infuriating when I hear people who are telling people who know nothing about oils how to use them and they're giving them incorrect information. A bit of a red rag to a bull.
yeah. No, I completely understand that as well. So if anyone is thinking about this, those are the simple ways to keep safe. Is just don't use them internally, and
Yeah.
don't use them in pure form on the skin either. Is that the kind of it's
Yes,
simple?
you need to mix them in a cream or an oil. James, if you like, I have a short class about using essential oils that just teaches people the basic steps to use them safely. If you'd like to share that with the listeners, I'd be happy to give you the link.
Ah, I think that's an absolutely fantastic idea, and we'll make sure we put that in the show notes.
Brilliant.
As well as, of course, I mean, you mentioned the lotions and potions class and you do online training. So we'll make sure we pop a whole bunch of links to your other
Oh, great.
things in the show
Thanks,
notes as
James.
well. Because I
Yeah,
know people who are listening to this will be interested in it. And it, especially as something for massage therapists who are maybe not doing any essential oils work at the moment, but are listening to this and thinking, oh, maybe that is something that could work well in my practice with my kind of clients, with my style. It
yeah,
is really great to have someone that is very professional, very experienced at training this, has run their own business for such a long time, being able to give that high quality information, the safety information, as well as just how to actually use these in clinic. Because it's something that we haven't really talked about yet, but essential oils for a massage therapist can be an extra income source, right? Like,
yes.
how do you teach that? How does that work in your world?
Well, first of all, essential oils will enhance massage. So massage, as we all know, is absolutely great for so many things: muscle pain, insomnia, stress. It's just absolutely great. But if you add essential oils to the oil you're using in a massage, it just, the combination is absolutely brilliant. And then there's a number of ways, as you were saying, that you can use essential oils to increase your income. So people who do my lotions and potions course will often sell products to their clients, like sugar scrubs and moisturisers, pain balms, etc., which is a very nice little source of income. And then you can also use them to upgrade your treatments. So you might say do a massage and then do a facial rejuvenation treatment. Or you might do a short treatment with rejuvenating oils like neroli and jasmine. And it just brings the treatment. It brings an already great treatment makes it even better. So you have the oils you use in the treatment, they don't just rejuvenate the skin. They also help with the mood and emotions, and because they work in so many ways. And then you could do an upgrade like something like a sugar scrub, where you have your ordinary castor sugar with some vegetable oil, and that on its own is a lovely product to add to a treatment. But adding essential oils to the mix, again, makes it even better. You could do a short hand sugar scrub or a foot sugar scrub. It's absolutely gorgeous. The skin feels great. And I've known of some of my students, well, one of my students in particular, she learned how to do that treatment. And then she texted her clients to say, okay, lads, so my treatment prices have increased. It was 50 and now it's 60. And you get your reflexology treatment and you get your sugar scrub. She actually doubled her clients, even with the extra.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
With the increase in the fee. You know, such a simple thing.
That's amazing. I love that. And I just want to point out 50, 60, we're talking euros, right? Or euros, yeah. That sounds really low in dollars. I just want to point that out in case anyone's thinking, why are you only charging that? It's like, no, that's a reasonably good price in euros.
Yeah.
But if you were to just say, someone's listening to this and they're like, I just want to test this out. I just want to grab maybe a couple of essential oils from some supplier. We don't need to name a supplier, but someone that's a good supplier. What actual oils are the easiest, the safest, the most effective to start experimenting with?
I'd say something like lavender. Because lavender, I mean, all the oils are multifunctional, but lavender particularly so. Lavender I think of as the Leonardo da Vinci of essential oils, because it's great at everything. So muscle pain, it balances the sebum produced by the skin, so it's good for oily skin or dry skin or whatever. Really, really good for the emotions. It helps to balance blood pressure. Very good for respiratory complaints. It's antiviral, it's antibacterial. So, you know, it covers everything, and it covers everything fabulous. Really, really well. And then another one I'd recommend would be bergamot. That is spelled with a T, Beorgamot, not pronounced with a T. Bergamot I call the little oil of stress, because it has a really unique kind of attribute. It's uplifting and it's also calming at the same time. So if someone's going for a driving test or an exam where they need to be calm, but they also need to be alert, bergamot is brilliant and it smells divine. And a third one I'd recommend would be ylang ylang. So ylang ylang, it's pronounced E, but it's spelled Y. So it's Y-L-A-N-G. Absolutely gorgeous. Ylang ylang works on the emotions, but it does it in a very physical way. It regulates the heart rate, it regulates the breathing rate, and it controls the adrenaline in the system. And I'd often refer to ylang ylang as the emotional crutch because people have used it when they're going through a crisis, and they'd ask me, is it okay to keep using it? I say, yeah, absolutely keep using it. Like, once you know how to use it, it's not going to do any harm. So those 3 oils would be my top 3, and they actually, you could mix them all together as well. They are fabulous. As a blend.
And in a massage treatment, are we talking about adding this into the oil that we're applying to the skin, or is this more like you use a vaporizer or something to get it in the air? Like, how is this actually used?
Well, you can use it either way, and you can also use it at home, like in the bath and stuff. But if you're going to use it in a massage treatment, you would use 2 drops of essential oil per teaspoon or 5 ml of your carrier. So 3 teaspoons of grapeseed oil, add 2 drops of lavender, 2 drops of bergamot, and 2 drops of ylang ylang. And it'll be great for stress. It'll be great for muscle pain. It'll help sleep. Beautiful blend. But you could also put it in a burner and have a burner going in your office in the reception, and just put 1 drop of each oil into the water in the burner or in a diffuser. Absolutely gorgeous. It just lifts the fantastic. So good.
Yeah, that's great. I know my wife Alicia has a little box full of essential oils. So literally, as soon as I finish this podcast recording, I'm going to go down, check for those 3, see if I can drop some in there and check them out. I can imagine the scent of that will be absolutely amazing. Look, I've really enjoyed what you're sharing, Jenny. It's amazing to have some of that advice and that level of expertise and the experience that you've got on the podcast. We already mentioned we'll put some links through to your programs in the show notes. Where else can people find you if they want to just follow up? Where should they look if they want to be able to connect?
I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook as Jenny Sheridan, Holistic Therapist Success Mentor. So you can Google that. I also have I'm on YouTube a bit. I'm working on that. I want to get my videos more regular. I have the Aromatherapy Business Podcast, and I wrote a book which is on Amazon. My book is a step-by-step guide to aromatherapy for common ailments, and it's available on Amazon. So it might be a nice starting point if you just weren't sure what to do and wanted to know how to use them for different things and how to use them safely. And there's tips there for therapists. And
I'll make sure we put links to all of those in the show notes as well. So if someone's listening to this or watching this and you want to be able to look at any of that stuff, you can just click the link, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Jenny. I really, really appreciate it. It's been an amazing conversation, and I know there's going to be a bunch of people that have got great value out of this. I'm definitely going to go check into those aromatherapy essential oils myself. It's going to be great. Thank you very much.
Thanks a million, James. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.